Hi, everybody. I'm Ben Parker from the Bulwark, joined by our friend and former CIA Africa analyst, Holly Berkley Fletcher, who is joining us from where are you again, Holly?
I am in Naivasha, Kenya, beautiful Naivasha, Kenya. It's in the Rift Valley. It's about 2 hours outside Nairobi, 1 hour to 2 hours, depending on traffic. It's a beautiful lake. It's beautiful.
It sounds great. And you are joining us because yesterday, Donald Trump, president of the United States, had a meeting with the president of Liberia, and this happened.
Well, thank you. And such good English, such beautiful. Where did you learn to speak so beautifully? Where were you educated? Where?
Yes, sir.
In Liberia.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's very interesting. It's beautiful English.
Sure.
I have people at this table can't speak nearly as well.
Very good, sir. Thank you.
It's such a proud moment for an American raised in Africa. It's very proud.
Yeah, isn't it great? Okay, so first of all, Holly, what is the official language of Liberia?
English.
Oh,
And
yeah,
actually,
it is.
not even English, but really, I think pretty American English, because the history of Liberia is that it was founded as a colony of sorts of the United States in the 19th century. Freed slaves founded Liberia in the 1820s, and dominated its political life until 1980, when the last Americo-Liberian president was violently overthrown. So they really controlled the country and the economy for all of those years. So yes,
Yeah,
English.
for well over a century. Hence the
Yes.
name Liberia, as in Liberty Land, right?
Yes,
The capital
and Monrovia is who, Ben?
would that be
Who's
James
it named
Monroe? That's a little
after?
ironic.
Yeah,
Monroe, right? James
it
Monroe?
is.
Yeah.
It is, because the Monroe Doctrine was about the Western Hemisphere, and Liberia is not in that hemisphere. So it's a bit ironic.
Yeah, still seems ironic to name the capital of a country settled by freed slaves after a slaveholder, but whatever. I'm sure it's fine.
Well, but Ben, sorry to get nerdy on you, but a lot of slaveholders supported the colonization of Africa by freed slaves, because slaveholders did not want freed blacks in the United States. There was a lot of racism that was involved in the colonization movement in the 19th century. So it's actually not so ironic on that front. I was more thinking of the Monroe Doctrine.
That's a great point. You also, before we started recording, had a great point about it's been a bit of a pattern with Trump. This isn't the only meeting he's had recently with an African leader. So why don't you tell the people about that and how this fits into the broader pattern?
Well, first of all, this meeting was not just with the president of Liberia. He met with, it was 5 presidents, actually. Liberia, Senegal, Mauritania, Guinea-Bissau, and Gabon. And it's a little bit of a head scratcher why these 5. His Africa policy, if you can even call it that, is not very robust, first of all, but also a little bit of it's hard to sort of determine. These 5 countries are by no means like the powerhouses of Africa. So from what folks can tell, this meeting was probably driven by his policy seems to be not just in Africa, but in elsewhere as well, Ukraine being one example. He was really obsessed with these rare earth minerals and getting minerals. And these countries, some of them have some of these, is it raw earth or rare earth? I can't even remember.
Rare earth, yeah.
Like manganese and things like that. And other sort of like Liberia, actually, rubber, has a big rubber industry, timber. Some of the other countries are related to migration issues, which of course he's also obsessed with. Mauritania, there's a big outflow of migrants out of Mauritania. So that's kind of what people can decipher in terms of why he's pursuing this. So his policy goal, if you can even call it a policy, seems to be to enhance trade to make up for all the lost aid. And it even rhymes, which is very cool. You want, trade instead of aid. So, but he's really wanting, but it doesn't make any sense. I see your confusion. It doesn't make any sense because at the same time, He's putting
tariffs,
tariffs
right?
on these countries, and he's yet to renew the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which has been a huge boon to many African economies and has opened up trade to the U.S. markets for them. And that's still in limbo. Nobody knows what he's going to do. So it's not really trade per se. It's basically just trying to get these minerals. To me, the whole thing sounds very throwback to like 19th century. You got your tariffs and then you're going to go take some minerals from some countries.
From Africa?
Yeah. It sounds very like retro.
Well, that's great. It's so nice that we have such careful people thinking deeply about how we're going to interact with the world and not just stereotyping them based on, how they look or sound.
I've traveled really widely on the continent. And first of all, I've rarely been in a place or in a situation where I can't find someone that doesn't speak English. The exception might be rural Tanzania, I was there to learn Swahili. So I was kind of glad not to find as many people who spoke English. But frankly, most Africans, and not even terribly well educated, not depending on the country, most Kenyans, I should say, and South Africans, some of the countries I know the best, they speak excellent English. And I would say better than Donald Trump, which is a low bar, but nonetheless.
Yeah, not surprising that they speak better English than he does, better English than a lot of his cabinet secretaries. But, it's because basically he doesn't know anything about the world and doesn't want to learn anything about the world because he doesn't care.
Let me just read you my favorite quote from the meeting today. Can I do that?
Oh, please.
He said at one point, they were congratulating him on his negotiation of the DRC Rwanda peace deal. Okay, which again, we can do another whole segment on that another time. And he said, I quote, "There's a lot of anger on your continent. We've been able to solve a lot of it." I didn't realize he had solved so much of the anger on the continent. I don't know that it's necessarily anger, but that's the problem. He says he's going to work on Sudan next, which I'm super excited to see what he's going to do.
Listen,
there.
I got to admit, I'm proud of him because when we did one of these videos, when he met with Cyril Ramaphosa, he didn't know that Africa was a continent. He thought it was a country. So now he's showing off that he knows the difference now.
Yeah.
But look, this is...
that's a really good point. That's a very good
This
point.
is what we've got now.
So he's growing.
He's nearly 80 and he's finally learning the difference between a country and a continent. Isn't it great?
Growth mindset. Oh, one last little fun detail for you. Okay. So the president of Liberia, Joseph Boakai, was elected at the age of 79, making him Liberia's oldest president, similar to our friend, our current president, Donald Trump. And guess what his nickname is in Liberia, Ben? You're not going to guess.
Is it Old Joe?
No, it's Sleepy Joe.
Okay, that is perfect. That is the perfect place to end. Holly, thank you so much for joining me to make fun of all this stupidity. It's the only way we can get through it. Hey, Holly has a Substack. It is Zero Without Stripes. Make sure to go check that out. Subscribe. It's wonderful. Also, subscribe to the Bulwark. Subscribe to our YouTube. Like the video. Leave a comment. And if you really like what we're doing and you want more of it, come to thebulwark.com. Become a Bulwark Plus member. Join our community. Holly's there. It's a great, fun time. Holly, thanks so much for joining me.